G'day mates, Keg11 here and welcome to the 1998 San Marino Grand Prix from the Autodromo Enzo e Dino Ferrari in Imola. This is the first race of the European season, which goes on throughout the rest of the year apart from Japan. Plus also, this is the first race of the season where I did not finish in the 1997 race. If you guys recall, quite infamously, I crashed within the first 10 seconds of the race. Pretty much, for those that don't know, started towards the back of the pack, I think the same qualifying position as it was in Argentina last year. Tried to pass a lot of opponents on my left, but I wasn't paying attention to my road positioning, so I was veering off track, which I eventually did, got two wheels off, and before I knew what was going on, it turned straight left and into the wall. I decided that that was grounds for retirement from the race, so I was out. Hopefully we'll have better result this year because I know what to expect and know what to look out for. Now, in the real life version of the race, David Coulthard won this race with Michael Schumacher coming in second place and Eddie Irvine rounding out 2 out of 3 for the Ferrari in Italy in third place. Mika Hakkinen was running close to the front at one point, but halfway through the race, he had to be wheeled into the garage because he had a gearbox failure. So that saw Coulthard continuing on way ahead of the Ferraris. A little bit of a tense moment at one point because of the, I think it was oil pressure going off the charts. All cooler temperature. But he managed to hang on to win the race. Ferrari, despite putting on their car the infamous X-Wings, which were followed by both Jordan and Sauber, but that didn't help at all, and as such, those X-Wings were banned by the FIA due to concerns that if from a side-on impact, maybe it may be unsafe for the driver. Only other news is that the only other drivers not to get lapped by the Ferraris, David Coulthard, were the two Williams of Frentzen and Villeneuve, and also both Benettons ended up retiring. Alexander Wirtz with engine failure and Giancarlo Fisichella as he spun off. Let's hope I have a bit more success here. So looking at the driver standings after the Argentina Grand Prix, we have Kent Levin, myself, in the lead on 23 points, just 7 points behind Mika Hakkinen. Hakkinen's win in the last race saw him jump up to second place, so he's quite close up to me. Following behind Hakkinen, in third place we have Michael Schumacher on 13 points, so he's plodding along quite nicely, scoring quite high, and keeping relative distance between myself and Hakkinen, so we shall see how this race goes, whether he moves up or not. Following behind him, we've got the second McLaren of David Coulthard. He's another one, like Schumacher, has been plodding along quite nicely near the front of the grid. Both drivers, though, are still looking for a win to push them up further through the pack. Rounding out the point scoring position, we've got Untitled Chapter, the only Williams at this point after scoring second place in Brazil. Then the second Ferrari of Eddie Irvine on 5 points, the Sauber of Jean Alesi on 2, and the Prost of Jarno Trulli on 1 point after he scored 6th place in the Australian Grand Prix. And in the Constructors' Championship, McLaren has taken the lead for the first time over Benetton by 5 points. McLaren on 28, Benetton on 23. And if the trend from the last 3 races has anything to go by, McLaren, more or less Benetton, should be on the way down because one driver is not really going well, probably doesn't balance well with 2 cars going reasonably well, both from McLaren and from Ferrari. Williams are on 6 points. Like myself, Frentzen is the only point scorer for Williams. And rounding out the point scoring positions, we've got Sauber Petronas on 2 and Prost Peugeot on 1. Thinking about it, Jordan Muse and Honda looking at them, if they want to have similar success as they had last year, they should start scoring really soon. So now looking at the qualifying results from this race, we have Michael Schumacher starting from pole, his first pole position of the season, just 68 hundredths of a second, no, thousandths of a second, over David Coulthard. Kent Levin, myself, is followed in third place with a 121 flat. so not too far off Michael Schumacher there. Joining me on the second row, we got Mika Häkkinen, further 18 thousandths of a second behind me and 0.178 seconds behind Schumacher. So we should see a bit of a good contest between those four drivers. And also including onto that pack is Eddie Irvine, starting on the third row of the grid with 1:21.312, so another respectable time. And rounding out the top 10, at this point we got Jean Alesi, Untitled Chapter, Damon Hill in the number 1 Jordan, Johnny Herbert, and my teammate Giancarlo Fisichella. So the rest of that looks quite normal, and looking throughout the rest of the grid, Ralf Schumacher, Villeneuve, Salo, Barrichello, looks quite normal. Esteban Tuero is scoring quite well, 15th place. Should see him quite well. He's been a not too bad driver across the qualifying. Unfortunately, this isn't, well, as far as I've seen, really reflected in the actual racing conditions. More or less that could be said for the Prost, although this time around, the Prost, well, Jarno Trulli's Prost is 18th, but Olivier Panis is way down the order on 21st, only 0.92 seconds behind Shinji Nakano in the Minardi. So as far as qualifications go, Prost is not really having a good year with the Peugeot unit, so there's going to be a lot of head scratching around there, particularly how they were competing for top 10 places, point scoring places last year. So they'll need to sort themselves out really soon. So with that underway, let's get to the San Marino Grand Prix for 98. Just excuse me, ladies and gents. I just got to adjust the commentary volume. I forgot to. There we go. Okay, now let's just get this race underway. And we're off. And Schumacher is in the lead, following by David Coulthard, Mika Häkkinen, and Kent Levin. Kent Levin has not had a really good start, but he's past the point of no return as we hit contact. But that could crashing into one of the Williams now. I think it was Villeneuve. No, Frentzen. It'll have to be Frentzen. But not a good start for me this race. I'm down to 7th place. But I've gone past the point of no return. In my F1 career, I've not seen this bit before. Only in qualifying and practice. Coming to Tosca now for the first time. Not too bad there. Coming across the back straight. If we come into Piratella for the first time, corner 8. Now this looks tighter than it is. Well, actually, it is tighter than it looks, sorry. As we come to the Acqua Minerale, the double apex. Right is easy, then a further right is quite tight. You have to go through in second gear. As you come across the Variante Alta, I really love this chicane because I can go through it really fast, which I do here, and I'm right behind Heintal Frentzen Williams? I think, no, unless I pass him back. I think that's one of the Ferraris. And in front of him, we got one of the Jordans as we're coming to the Ravazza for the first time. Oh, bit too quick there, running to the back of one of the Ferraris. I know for a fact it's one of the Ferraris. We come to the back straight as we come towards the pit straight and the Variante Bassa. Not too bad there. As we come across the finish line to complete our first lap, the positions are Schumacher, Coulthard, Häkkinen, Hill, Eddie Irvine, and Kent Levin. So the only big change is that I have dropped from 3rd position all the way down to 6th because of the bad start and the hustle and bustle as I went through Tamburello for the first time, but I managed to get past ahead of Heintal Frentzen again, and as such I'm in the last point scoring position, but kudos to Damon Hill there in the Jordan. He's really jumped up the pack. Really good hopes for Jordan there, because if any of the teams I wouldn't mind racing one day is Jordan, because Jordan has, although has been around since 1991, has shown good promise, brought through some good drivers through the packs, namely Rubens Barrichello, now my former teammate at Stewart, and with Damon Hill on board along with Ralf Schumacher, they've got a good combo as I run to the side of Irvine and go to the take 5th place. So Irvine's not going to be happy with that, but unfortunately with the way this game is made, I'm not going to take any penalties in regards to collisions like that, because it's just a bit too complicated, not as with how the physics works, things like that. Not like F1 97, but hopefully this will be the last game that will have it, because as I cut across Variante Bassa and I slow down accordingly, And behind me is John Lacey. So, as John Lacey makes a move, don't make me into the same position as last year. Coincidentally, it was attempting to pass a Sauber that I got off, and now I've got both a Sauber and a Ferrari up my ass. This is going to end well, and it did end well, actually. I thought it was going to end bad. But you should have seen that review shot. As I was coming out of Tamburello, I had a Ferrari on the inside, a Sauber on the outside. If I turned either way, I would have crashed into one of them. Unfortunately, that's put me way back. I'm about 5 seconds behind Hill. I really need to move if I want to catch up. But we're past halfway. No, we're not past halfway. We're finishing this lap. We're at halfway, so that's a really good sign. Because I'd really like to finish this San Marino Grand Prix for the first time. As a matter of fact, I would like to finish all the races that I didn't finish in last year, which is this, France. I think those were the only two. Or was there another one? I can't remember. But anyway, in that talking, it looks like I've caught up to Hill because I can see his yellow Jordan up in the distance. And as we come into the final, Variante Bassa, yes, I'm quite close behind him. Schumacher, Coulthard, Hakkinen, Hill, Levin, Alesi. Those are the top 6 as we come across the line to start our 4th lap. And I'm already 1.24 seconds behind Hill. I definitely need a drink with me when I'm doing this commentary because this hurts my throat. But by the sound of things, Alesi's not too far behind me either. So hopefully if I can pass Damon Hill to get 4th spot, it'll be all good. I wouldn't concern myself too much as I make a move on Hill. As we come to Tosca, Hill goes wide and I go through. I'm in 4th place. Congratulations. Now I've got the McLarens, both McLarens, but considering how far they're ahead, I can't even see them. It's going to be relatively unlikely as we come across past Piratella and come to the Acqua Minerale. Alright there. We power up towards the Variante Alta, my favourite corners of the track. Hakkinen's 8 seconds. Ugh. That doesn't look very good to my chances of catching up to Hakkinen, but we shall see. I think 4th place will be good for me at this point. I may not be the wins like I did previously, but if I can keep relatively high scoring positions, I should be able to keep close to the front. Because as I said at the start of the season, I'm not aiming on a championship. Those 2 wins were all well and good, but yeah, we just have to wait and see. Of course, yes, if I want to win the championship, I would go for it. But I'm not going to forcibly win too. And look, I'm catching up to Hakkinen. So, it appears that I must be pushing, but I must be desperate to try and get 3rd place. Oh well, we've got 2 laps to go, so anything's possible. It's easy for me to catch up in this game. Not sure why. Doesn't seem like anything changed between myself and Hakkinen. So that seems fine. I should be quite securely in 4th place, so... Okay. Huh? Engine failure? That's bugger. Although, thinking about it, something I noticed when I was actually racing on this, that the guy who replaced Wirtz, he had engine failure on this track too, although I lasted longer than he did. Which actually begged the question. In the Grand Prix Championship mode in this, if the car has had mechanical trouble in real life, it is reflected in this game. I'm not sure. Well, looking at the history figures here, Wirtz's other mechanical retirement was in Italy, where I had my first win last year. So when we reach the Italian round, I'm going to have a look at that and see if it is the case. Hopefully, I won't have any problems thereafter. But anyway, as we have a look at the standings after this race, Michael Schumacher manages to hold on to the lead to take his first win of the season. Just 2.5 seconds in front of David Coulthard, so looks like the top 3 did not change at all. They still remain at good distance, but a lot of points from McLaren, so they're going to increase their Constructors' Championship. And adding on to that, I think Mika Hakkinen takes the lead in the championship. Well, we were Are we drawing, aren't we? I'm not sure. I'll have to have a look at the standings for that one. Other than that, looks like 4, 5, 6 was pretty much the same, except me. It looks like Eddie Irvine managed to keep by in 7th place until I retired. So that means the rest of the point scoring positions go to Damon Hill and the Jordan. First points for Jordan! I was mentioning that they needed to score points. They obviously heard my prayers. So good job, Damon. 5th place, John Alesi in the Sauber, and 6th place, Eddie Irvine in the Ferrari. So not as good as it was in real life, but a total of 11 points to Ferrari wouldn't be that bad. So now looking at the Drivers' Championship now, we've got Kent Levin and Michael Schumacher drawing for the lead, with Mika Hakkinen not too far behind on 20 points and David Coulthard not too far behind on 18 points. So it looks like it's a quite tight battle between the Benetton, the Ferrari and both McLarens. Following behind them, further down, Eddie Irvine now draws behind Harold Frentzen for, well, it says here 4th position, but the way I run this, it's actually competing for 5th position. But hey, who's counting? I'm just going off this. Drawing for 4th position on 6 points. And rounding out the point scoring positions, we've got Jean Alesi, Damon Hill. After they both scored points here today. And rounding out the top point scoring positions, we've got Jarno Trulli, I believe, on 1 point. And in the Constructors' Championship, McLaren, as predicted, are well in the lead on 38 points. Ferrari has moved up to 2nd place on 29, so they're only 9 points behind McLaren Mercedes. So that point scoring position helped. Benetton is on the slide. They're still on 23 points after Giancarlo Fisichella not scoring again, but also my retirement because of engine failure. So, but looking at it, well, both McLarens and Ferraris are going. This is to be expected sooner or later. I just hoped it was later. Williams Mechachrome are in 4th place on 6 points. Not scoring this round, but they're getting caught up by Sauber Petronas. They're on 4 points. And rounding out the point scoring position, we've got Jordan Mugen Honda on 3. They've moved up to 6th place thanks to Hill's 4th place. And then Prost Peugeot still on 1 point. There we have it for the San Marino Grand Prix. Shorter video again, but much longer than what it was last year. I wouldn't be too... I think a few of you guys would be a little bit annoyed that the San Marino Grand Prix last year was all talk from me. There's barely any action. But it's just what it comes with Formula 1, I guess. You win some, you lose some. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, actually. I'll be curious to see your comments in the below. And I'll see you guys at the next race in Spain, I believe. Yeah, Spain.